Hey boys and girls, and welcome to shorter attention, what I was doing and things like that. Hopefully it helps you out, hopefully. Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode of Storytime with Uncle Mason. Today, we are going to continue to talk about grief, and more specifically, we're going to talk about how to have yourself a good morning, so that way you can have an effective grief process so you can move past everything that's happened and move on with your life. Now, before we do that, as always, got to start off with some upcoming events. Tomorrow evening at 6 p.m., we are going to be meeting up with the folks from Summit IDG and WHAM. And we are going to be going on a nice little 6 to 7 mile ruck march. We're going to be meeting at Taco Land. If you want some more information on that, either contact Erin, myself, or Chris Martinez, and we can get you squared away there. On Friday, we're going to have, we're co-hosting a bike ride with the PTSD Foundation of America. We're going to be meeting at the Foundation Center off Jones-Maltzberger at 9 a.m. And we're going to ride anywhere between 5 and 20 miles, depends on the group. Then Friday evening, EJ and I are going to be hosting a trail run at Friedrich Park. We're going to be up there at 6:30. We're going to run about 2 or 3 miles. It should be a nice little run through the trail there. And finally, this upcoming Sunday, EJ and I are going to go run our second Spartan race of the year. So you guys be sure to wish us luck there. We're going to go ahead and kill it out there. As always, we still have our t-shirts for sale. We have the Tried and True Blue Tournament of Heroes t-shirt. It is $15. We have all of our sponsors on the back. We also have our Royal Red right here t-shirt. It is also $15. You can take the sleeves off, make a good workout shirt like I did. Looks great on you. And it's going, again, every penny that we raise through Honor 22 goes back to helping a couple different groups here in town provide service for veterans and their families. So you guys are doing a great thing by helping us out there. Okay, so talking about how to have a good morning. Now, we've already talked about what to do and what not to do when you grieve. So basically, when we've experienced a traumatic event, grief is what we feel. Now, mourning is what you do about it. So there's a couple different steps that you can take to have an effective mourning. Now, this is the part of the book where basically you are asked to give a lot of your grief and a lot of your suffering over to Christ. So again, if that's something you're not really interested in, if you have a different religious faith, this may not pertain to you. However, I think some of the core concepts behind this you can find helpful in whatever ideology you recognize. This book, again, is a Christian faith-based book. So the number one thing whenever you want to have a good morning is remember where God is. Now, because of your wound, you hold a special attraction to the Lord. You've got his attention, so you can expect him to be present and responsive to your needs during this time. Basically, just ask Jesus to enter your pain. So don't forget where the big guy is at in your life. The next step you want to do is remember the past, remain optimistic. Think back to all the times God has sustained you in your past. It's okay to think about the negative. It's also, it's better to think about the positive, but to process everything, you have to remember the past as it happened to you and try to remain optimistic and find the good that's happening in your life currently. Aim steadily at faith's target. Ask yourself this question: what do I have faith in? So the only answer to that question, what I have faith in, should be God. Whenever we tie our faith to our circumstances or to a particular desire, we take God off the throne of our life and set ourselves up for a great disappointment. Now, Larry Crabb had a quote about faith here. It says, "Faith, as I am growing to understand it more, is about looking beyond my circumstances to a person. To have faith in better circumstances, even in God creating better circumstances, is not true faith. I want to be the kind of man who can watch every dream go down in flames and still yearn to be intimately involved in kingdom of living, intimately involved in my friends the king, and still be willing to take another risk just because it delights him for me to do so." And, and my flesh shivers to think about it. So basically, it's difficult. We've talked about it before, how a loss of faith can affect you, but if you basically remember where God is at, where he was at in your past, and you try to continue to maintain your faith, you will have a more effective grieving process when you're trying to overcome your moral injury. So the next step is don't be a lone ranger. Effective grief work is not done alone. Don't try to be the pillar of strength to everyone around you because you'll crumble. Be sure to find a few people that you know you can count on out there for when you need them. Now, these aren't people like you know, drinking buddies or guys you go mudding with, something like that. These are people that you consider true friends and true family. Those, you know, you have to surround yourself with like-minded people that are going to have your best interest in heart. So the next step is don't do something with your anger. When anger is bottled up indefinitely, it morphs into bitterness. As we learned earlier, that bitterness will spread on the borders of your life and affect everything around you: relationships, family, friends, work, everything. It flows into everything pretty nastily. But it's what we do with that anger that can lead to sin. When you feel the anger rising up within you, first remove yourself from the physical cause of your anger if you can. No fuel equals no fire. Go out for a run, go to the gym, you know, lift some weights, dig a garden, chop down a tree, hell, even plant a tree, swim a few hundred laps, or if you're able to, do something truly constructive. Go help someone who needs it, build something, go down to the church and see if they can help you with anything. Now, there was a question here for you folks that are keeping track at home. It says, what are some specific things that you can do next time you become angry? So think about that, and think about some of the steps you can take to kind of remove yourself from that angry situation so you can get on, you know, with your healing process. The next step is go with the flow of tears. You know, a lot of people think that as a soldier, you're not allowed to cry. Now, in the military, it was frowned upon, but I'm trying to focus this more on people that are out of the military. You're a person now. You know, you no longer have to be that beacon of hope and strength for people unless you want to. So it is okay to cry. Now, a lot of people seem to be reluctant to engage in strong emotions associated with grief because, you know, big boys don't cry, but big men should cry when it comes to grief. It is absolutely okay to let your tears out. And if you do it with like-minded individuals, if you surround yourself with people that love you and cherish you, you'll have a much more effective grief process there. Next step is keep a grief journal. So basically, what you want to do is you want to write down what is going on in your life is affecting you, and to try and read it daily and go from there. Now, when I did this whole therapy process, I kept one. I kept one that involved a lot of things I thought about, a lot of things I felt. I actually kept a second one. So that's almost 2 years worth of journaling right there that I keep. And every now and then, whenever I'm feeling down or depressed, I'll look back into that and I'll think back to moments where, you know, I didn't think I was going to be able to do something, or I was unsure of myself. And it reminds me of the time that I decided to better myself and I decided to become the guy I am today. And so it's a very good reminder there. Now, there's some guidelines for effective journal keeping. Basically, I'm going to get my feelings out. I'm not going to be scared. I'm going to write down how I feel each day. I'm going to express what I'm discovering, how I'm responding to each new idea, how it helps or doesn't help, and where I am at right now on the journey. I'll write at least a sentence or two each time I reread the earlier entries and chapters, because each day is a new day and a new place on the road. Now, there's a couple questions to answer if you're going to keep this daily journal, and that's how do you feel right now, what you've discovered today, and what I still question today. And basically, if you continue to read back over those, you'll see a noticeable change in your thought pattern over the course of a period of time. If you don't keep a grief journal, you can still see it, but you'll see it more through your actions. And with the grief journal, you can actually go back and see physical evidence of how much your mentality and your thought process has changed during this entire process. So the final step is to write a lament. Now, a lament is a special kind of entry that you might find in a grief journal. When a mourner writes a lament, they pour all of their emotions, frustrations, venom, vitriol, sadness, curses, everything, including the kitchen sink, onto a piece of paper. They rail against their present circumstances and they don't hold back. Now, this is your opportunity to express your despair and anger, knowing that no one, not even God, is going to judge you. And when you're done, read it over again. Read it to Jesus, giving him all of that anger, hurt, hate, and despair, and he'll thank you for your honesty, absorb your anger, and love you just as fiercely as he ever has. So that's the point in your journal where basically everything comes out. You know, whatever anger you're feeling, emotions, anything and everything you pour out, and you can go back and reread later and see how that has, how that has affected you over the course of, however long you've been keeping the journal. So that's basically it for how to have an effective morning. So I'm going to go ahead and knock out some push-ups for you guys, and I will get out of your hair. If I can get this thing to play. There we go. So yeah, guys, that's how to have an effective morning. I'll try to come back later today and finish up the rest of this chapter. In the meantime, you guys have a great day, and I will see you all later.